Friday, September 17th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I am meteorologist Matthew East here with you, and we'll discuss a lot of things here in today's video. Some big storms yesterday, our weather here over the next week or so, as well as the tropics. So let's get right into it here. This is the storm report map from yesterday, Thursday and Thursday night, and a couple of areas where the storm damage was pretty significant. One, near the Ohio River Valley there, parts of Ohio into West Virginia, a number of tornado reports there. And another slew of storms moved through New Jersey into the New York City metro area. And unfortunately, with those areas, both of those areas of storms, a couple of fatalities reported. I believe at last count, one from each of those storm areas. So that's a tragic situation there, and this severe weather was rather significant yesterday. Now, in our area, a couple of showers back into the mountains, and a few of those sprinkles have tried to escape out into the Piedmont. And what we're seeing is a cold front drop on in. As that front drops in, there's just a very limited chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm today. The chance of rain, though, in any one spot once you're outside of the mountains today is likely less than 1 in 10. But a couple of lucky folks might see a passing shower or storm. Here's a look at the National Watch and Warning situation. I wanted to show you this primarily to show up near the Canadian border, both in the northern plains and also in the New England states. Those are frost advisories in effect for tonight. Sure sign that autumn is really close by. Here's the upper air chart for today. Still somewhat of a zonal flow across much of the lower 48. As we get into next week, this is Tuesday in the afternoon, a ridge pops up again over the southeastern part of the country. So it's going to stay relatively warm right on through next week, but still some indications that by the end of the month we might see a nice push of some cool air into the eastern United States. So I mentioned today, partly sunny with a few isolated showers or storms, a possibility, highs upper 80s and low 90s. Let's go to Saturday. It looks good tomorrow. Sunshine, a reinforcing push of drier air, so low humidity. Sunshine, highs tomorrow in the 80s. Sunday, probably back up into the low 90s for most of our highs with lots of sun. Monday, low 90s, lots of sunshine. There goes Igor up the coast. And again, tropics coming out, or not up the coast, rather, off of the coast, up near Bermuda. The tropical update here coming up in just a moment. Now, as we get into Tuesday, and not really so much Tuesday, but more so there on Wednesday, I'll mention the chance of just a few isolated showers or storms Wednesday and Thursday. Kind of like today, though, the chance of rain right now in any one spot looking pretty small. And it will stay warm. Lots of highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s next work week. All right, in the tropics, 3 hurricanes in the Atlantic Basin. Let's start with Carl. Carl rapidly intensifying since it emerged off the Yucatan Peninsula. Carl is a major hurricane at the point I'm cutting this video, and it should continue to strengthen right up until landfall later this afternoon there on the Mexican coast. And Carl will, of course, weaken pretty rapidly once inland as it encounters the mountainous Mexican terrain. But this will be a pretty big problem for areas right along the coast in terms of wind, and then inland, a lot of flooding and mudslide issues are a good bet, as that is almost always the case with landfalling tropical systems in Mexico. Igor, still a major hurricane, and not looking overly impressive, at least in terms of its overall satellite presentation, but it is still a major hurricane and should stay that way until it has its impact with Bermuda Sunday night. There's the computer models. Here's the official Hurricane Center track, and again, it looks like the center of Igor will track very close to Bermuda, and it will still be a relatively slow mover at that point in time. So an extended period of hurricane force winds likely for Bermuda. Could be a pretty bad situation there. And finally, Julia continues to gradually spin down. And I wanted to show you this. Thought this was interesting, the comparison in size between Julia and Igor. There's Julia. There is Igor. Certainly Igor is a monster hurricane in terms of its size. Julia much smaller, and it'll continue to weaken as it heads over progressively cooler waters there in the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean. All right, that's it for this Friday edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Good-looking weather weekend ahead. The drought conditions worsening. That's the downside. We could use some soaking rains. That's just not in the cards, though, for the next week or so. So at least if we're going to continue to be dry, we can enjoy some nice weather. And the weekend will be nice, especially Saturday with some 80s for highs and A lot of sunshine back up to the low 90s Sunday. All right, have a great weekend, and God bless.